everyone. Today I wanted to work on some of the techniques that we have in each kata. Now, as you know, in Genesis we have our low block, we have our middle punch, and then during our center stances we have the low, middle, and high punch. So let's go ahead and break that down, and let's go ahead and go over the details behind those steps to make sure that we're really executing the techniques and the stances properly. So with low block, what we usually have are 2 steps, okay? First, before we get down to just 2 steps, I wanted to break it down to 3 steps, just to make sure that we are really making sure that we are positioning our feet and our arms and everything correctly. But don't worry, it's not going to be too complex. It's going to actually make it probably easier for you. So from here, let's go ahead and start off in our ready stance, kata RV. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that left leg, we're going to bring it in together, and then we're going to step back. We're going to get into our back stance. Now with back stance, remember the big difference between this and our front stance is that our front leg is going to be just like in a front stance. Yes, it's bent. Yes, it's facing in front of you. But our back leg is also bent, and it is facing the side. Okay, it's not facing in front of you, and it's not on an angle or anything like that. It is directly to the side. Okay, and then our hands are up. So with low block, let's go ahead and first show what we want to see. And with that low block, you're going to bring your arms up and down, okay? So to get to this position, let's go ahead and break it down into those steps I was saying. We're going to be in that back stance. Now, step 1, you're going to bring that front arm. For me right now, it's my right arm. Make sure you always practice on both sides. Right now we're on the right side, but make sure you're going to go ahead and practice on the left side as well. So that front hand, so my right hand is going to come up to the opposite of my face, not over here, but on the other side, like I'm talking on the phone to my ear. And then this back hand, right now that's my left, it's going to cover my body up in front over here, okay? So that's step 1. Step number 2, what we're going to do is take that back leg, it's facing to the side, I want to turn it and face it to the front and lock that back leg. That's step number 2, okay? Now, step number 3, we're going to bring this bottom arm back up into the armpit and that front arm down to the front, okay? It's going to be a swinging motion. We're not just putting our arms down there. We want to see that power behind it, okay? So let's go ahead and repeat that. We're going to go ahead back to that back stance, and I want to excuse my bird in the background. He's excited to be with us today, so you'll hear him chirping here and there. I'm sorry if it's picking up loud in the video. Now, let's go ahead back to our back stance. The first step is going to be bringing our arms up. Remember, that front arm is going to be by our ear. The back arm is going to be down here, covering the body. Step 2, straighten that leg into, so we can be in our front stance. And step 3, bring the arms back. Okay, let's try it again. So step 1, 2, 3. Okay, once you get the hang of switching from back stance to front stance, you can combine that with step number 2. And what that looks like is you're going to be in step 1, step 2. Step 1, step 2. Now notice my fists are nice and tight still. My back leg is locked when I am in the front stance, and I'm not wobbling around, okay? I'm trying to hold that balance, okay? Go ahead back to that ready stance. Now, so to get the hang of it, try to make sure that you're doing it a few times. We want to see repetition, okay? Today, go ahead and try breaking it down in the 3 steps, like I said, maybe 20 times on both sides. Once you get the one side, go ahead and bring that left leg out in front, right leg in the back. Just make sure that back leg is facing that side. It's not turned on an angle or in front. and you can go ahead and break it down again in those steps. Go ahead and do 20 repetitions, and then go ahead and move down to 2 steps, then move it down to 1 step. So for 1 step, you're going to be in that back stance, and you're just going to bring your arms down like so, okay? Once you get this motion, no problem. You can go ahead and do that 20 times, switch sides 20 times, and then really focus on the details behind the block. Like I said, with the fists, making sure that our knees are bent and locked when they're supposed to be, and just making sure that our eyes are where they're supposed to be and all that good stuff, okay? So that was low block, okay? Low block, we have our arms in front, swinging down. Let's go ahead now, move on to the next technique in Genesis, which is that middle punch, okay? Now, notice, I do have quite a bit of space around me, not too much blocking my way, but remember that you don't need a lot of space to do these techniques if you don't have it. If you have a big wide room and you can walk up and down the floor like we do in the studio, that's great, but it doesn't mean that you have to. You can still practice this anywhere in any area, okay? Even if you have a bunch of chairs around you, I think that's actually a great drill to practice that control. Make sure that you're hitting your target and not anything else, okay? So challenge yourself as long as you're not going to hurt yourself or anyone around you, or of course damage your furniture, okay? So from here, let's go ahead back to that ready stance. Let's move on to that middle punch, okay? I'm going to go ahead back into back stance. Now, let's go ahead and do that block, that low block. So we're in step 1, step 2, step 3, okay? Now, our back arm, our punching arm is in what we call chamber. It's nice and bent and it's ready to give us that power behind the punch. So let's go ahead and just add this as a step to that block, okay? From here, what we're going to do is we're going to take this front arm that did the blocking, you're going to bring it back to the other side, okay? And at the same time, you're going to throw that punch, okay? So again, right here, okay? Now with that punch, remember this is middle punch right now, what we're focusing on, okay? In Genesis, we also have that high block, which is to the head, and that low block, which is belt level or groin level, okay? But right now, let's go ahead and just focus on that middle punch, all right? So ready? We're in that low block and punch, okay? So after this, you can go ahead and practice this right here 20 times on each side, okay? And you can go ahead back to ready stance, okay? So right there was the conclusion for our low block and middle punch. These are the techniques you need for Genesis. They are very basic, but even advanced ranks need to keep practicing those basics to make sure that we are doing our techniques properly, okay? So go ahead, keep practicing that, and if you have any questions, you can always reach out to myself, Master Jabari, and always we encourage you guys to record yourself while training, and that way if you have questions or if you want to check up on yourself, you can look at it, review, or you can always send it to myself or Master Jabari, like I said, and we can help you to learn how you can take your techniques to the next level. Okay? Thank you guys. Next video, go ahead, keep an eye out for it to learn the techniques for Exodus. Okay? Thank you.